What if Deku joined Team JPDE? Chapter 46. Whistles and Sneezes. Monday. Day 127. David, Penny and Evelyn were getting ready for school. Well, does it look good on me even with the white hair? Evelyn asked. It still looks great, Evelyn, Penny said. What? She said. You look almost as good as me, David said. Ha. You wish that were true, Evelyn said. Hey. Glad to have you back, Eve, David said. Do you think Aiju will like it? Evelyn asked. He'll like whatever color your hair is, I'm 100% positive, Penny said. She speaks the truth again. Now, let's go to class, David said. After morning classes, the three went to eat lunch in the mess hall. Well, if nothing else, I approve of the image change, Weiss said. Hey, less an image change and more of a return to the natural look. It's like I quit using the bottle, you know, Evelyn said. Nonetheless, white is the color of purity, it's like the symbol of a new start, Weiss said. Ruby told us you were in dire straits. Glad to see you already up and about, Evelyn Young said. Thanks. Can't believe she just up and decided to help rescue me without knowing what she was getting into, Evelyn said. Young exhaled. That's Ruby for ya, Young said. Indeed. By the way, how is Ijuku doing? Weiss asked. Yeah, Ruby told us he got pretty messed up, Young said. Jack also got pretty messed up, Evelyn said. Oh yeah. How's she doing as well? Weiss asked. Evelyn giggled. Ijuku is doing fine. His injuries may have been severe, but there's not permanent damage to his body this time. He'll be up and about again soon, as well as Jack, Evelyn said. That's great to hear. I miss my study partner, Weiss said. Yeah. I've missed our sparring time, Young said. You'll get him back soon. Once I've suffered my punishment from him, Evelyn said. Young and Weiss blushed. Please. Please keep the noise down. I don't want to be keep up all night again by that. Blaze and Cobalt are bad enough, Weiss said. You know that means they'll use a gag or have his dick, Young said. Young's eye along, Weiss yelled. Do we have competition? Evelyn asked. Evelyn Damerot, Weiss yelled. On the other side of the mess hall. Oh my gods, I just remember, Ruby yelled. Whoa. Ruby, what's wrong? David asked. With everything that's been going on, I totally forgot about a thing that happened, Ruby said. What kind of thing? Penny asked. So, a few weeks ago, I ran into your friend Bella. I mean, I guess she's not really a friend, but anyway, the red-haired girl I met on the day of the exhibition matches who called you Big Brother, Ruby said. Yes, I remember who Bella is, Ruby, David said. Yeah, she had my mother's cloak and brooch, Ruby said. Your mother? Penny asked. Yes. Her name was Summer Rose. And apparently, my mother saved her and her friend Thilla's lives when they were young. That's how she got that brooch and cloak, my mother left them to her, Ruby said. Oh, that's. I don't know what it is. This is so confusing, Penny said. It's cool, it's what it is. I have further first-hand proof that my mom was Badis, Ruby said. Was? Oh, David said. She was a huntress, you know. It happens. Still, I never met anyone who had met her outside of my family. She was an important figure in their lives. So, I know that this is a weird request, but last time we couldn't really. And Ruby said. I'll give Bella a call tomorrow morning, David said. Really? Ruby asked. Absolutely. I would never refuse you something this important, Ruby, David said. Thanks, boyfriend, Ruby said. Meanwhile, up in the lab ship. How are you feeling? Ijuku Enrico asked. I'm feeling quite alright, Deku said. That's good, because there's something that needs to be talked about, Enrico asked. What is it? Izuku asked. You don't remember? Enrico asked. Remember what? Deku asked. Izuku. In the Barito forest. You passed one for all to me, Jack said. Oh, Deku said. You're taking this news rather well, Enrico said. Well, there's not much I can do now. Jack, I'll make sure to train you so that you can properly use one for all. Since you haven't, Deku said. Wait just a moment. I don't have one for all, Jack said. You don't? Izuku asked. She doesn't. In fact, she has no signs of quirk genes in her body, Enrico said. But how's that possible? To pass one for all on, I need to will it, and they need to eat a piece of my DNA. Sorry about shoving my hair down your throat, Jack, Izuku said. Mr. Midoriya. You didn't, Enrico said. It's alright, Izuku. You did what you needed to do, even if you didn't need to in the end, Jack said, blushing. Thanks. But this raises more questions. How were you able to use one for all then? Deku asked. Well, I have a theory. I believe that you have unlocked your semblance, Enrico said. My semblance? Deku questioned. Yes, your semblance. It's the only real explanation. Also, it is said that your semblance reflects who you are. And since you are one to always help others, your semblance may reflect that. Allowing you to transfer or allow others to access one for all, Jack said. That does make quite a lot of sense considering the evidence. Though we'll need to test the theory to prove your hypothesis right, Deku said. I do hope you do wait until you two have fully recovered before testing, Enrico said. We will, Jack said. And we'll be careful when testing. I'm already getting sick of being stuck here and don't want to be back here anytime soon, Deku said. Agreed. Even if I am getting a full 8 hours rest, Jack said. I bet the other 3 are keeping the whole of Beacon up, Deku said. No rest for the hunters, Jack said. Jack and Deku then laughed. Well, if you two are so bored, could I provide you with anything to keep you occupied, Enrico said. Some movies would be nice, Jack said. Very well. Izuku, Enrico asked. Movies would be nice. But I would also like any footage of my peers from Beacon. I want to expand my repertoire, Deku said. Very well. Please create a list of movies for me and I'll have everything sorted by tomorrow, Enrico said. Thank you, Mr. Polendana, Jack said. Thanks, Deku said. You're welcome. Now I have more research to do. I'll see you two later, Enrico said. Enrico then left the room. So what do we do now, Jack said. You could tell me what happened after I passed one for all to you, Deku suggested. Okay. Better than playing rock, paper, scissors, Jack said. Jack then began to tell Deku about what happened, excluding the fact that Deku had actually kissed her to pass one for all on Tuesday. Day 128. As promised yesterday, David had called Bella as Ruby asked. Of course. Absolutely. We can talk whenever she'd like. Whenever you'd like. Even today, Bella said. Actually, today isn't good, Thilla said. Why not, Bella asked. David, my sister is still hospitalized, right, Thilla asked. Yes, she'll still be a couple days. Why, David asked. Because to tell the full story we'll need to touch upon what happened to our family. So, I'd like Jack to be there as well, Thilla said. You're right. That's fair, Bella said. No big deal. We'll just do it on Sunday, then. Jack is sure to have recovered by then, David said. That'll be perfect, Thilla said. I guess so. See you on Sunday, David. And say hi to Ruby from us, Bella said. Well, that's settled. I bet Ruby will be happy, Evelyn said. Absolutely. And I can't wait to partake of tales of her mother, Penny said. I really wonder what she was like. She was a student of Beacon too, wasn't she? David said. Hey, guys. Great news, Titania said, entering Team JPDDE's dorm room. Just got off the scroll with Peach. She said Jack and Izuku will be right as rain by Friday, Titania said. That's great news, David said. Yup. Rightful owner of that bed will come to join you three in keeping up the whole school, Titania said. Evelyn laughed while Penny and David blushed. So, before that happens, Evelyn, Titania said. Yeah, Evelyn asked. I'd like to ask you a favor, Titania said. David was currently training in the gym. I need to get stronger. I need to get stronger to protect them. To protect everyone I love. I want to be strong enough, so I don't need to rely on them. Or on the flame, David thought. David then noticed the time, and the fact he was the only one in the gym. It's gotten quite late. I should have a shower and head back to my dorm room, David said. David then left the gym and headed to the locker room. He undressed and put a towel on and then entered the showers. David noticed a bunch of steam coming from one of the showers. Someone must really like hot showers, David thought. David then heard moaning coming from the steamy shower. David blushed profusely. A couple was having sex in the shower. Who would do something like this? I mean, we've had sex in the shower, but not the locker room ones. Hold on a minute. Do I hear? David thought. 4 separate moans then come from the shower. A foursome, David thought. Some of the steam that cleared and now David could make out 4 silhouettes. He could tell that there were 3 females and 1 male in the shower. I think I should go. I can have a shower in my dorm room, David thought. David then quietly left the showers and headed back to his dorm. David entered his dorm room and was met by a hug from Evelyn. David, you're back. I hope you didn't work yourself too hard, Evelyn said. Evelyn then sniffed David. Did you not have a shower? Evelyn asked. No, David said. David. That's very unhygienic, Penny said. I wasn't finished. I didn't have a shower because there was a foursome going on in the showers, David said. Details? Evelyn asked. I didn't see much. All I did see was 3 girls and 1 boy have sex in the shower, and that was only by the silhouettes, David said. Moo, Evelyn said. What a lucky guy, Penny said. I wouldn't call him lucky. He was being pegged by 3 drastically different sized women, David said. Oh, my, Penny said. I thought you said you couldn't see them properly. How could you see their breast sizes? Evelyn asked. I meant their heights, David said. Oh, Evelyn said. 1 was around your height, 1 around mine, and that last around Yatesu's height, David said. Oh my. What a variation, Penny said. Indeed, but enough about other women. I was going to say I'm horny, but now I think I could do with a workout, Evelyn said. Me too. Would you mind helping us, David? Penny asked. You two are going to be the death of me, David said. We better be, Evelyn said. Now let us get changed into something more appropriate, Penny said. Penny and Evelyn then got changed, not even caring about going into another room to do so. But in their excitement, they forgot one thing. Titania was in Izuku's bed. God's fucking damn it, Titania thought. Titania wasn't going to be able to get to sleep tonight, but she could get off. Wednesday. Day 129. Match is over. Good show, Miss Adele, Glinda said. Yeah, Coco yawned. David had noticed the Coco's yawn was more of a yawn of tiredness rather than boredom. How come you were the winner but you're the one who looks like crap? David asked. Because I could smell your breath from a mile away. Also because we've been stupid busy with missions, Big D. Like, wow, Coco said. Missions? What do you mean? David asked. Yeah, you wouldn't know, being a first year. So, you noticed how despite there being third and fourth year curriculums, you never seem to see any around the school, Coco said. Now that you mention it, David said. That's because, starting from a final exam of sorts at the end of the year, the students of the academy start taking missions out in the field under the supervision of a senior hunter. In the second year, the curriculum is still half lessons, half missions, but from the third year onwards it's 100% learning in the field. They barely see school grounds anymore, really, Coco said. Oh. So that's why they don't have dorms on school grounds, David said. Yeah. With missions you actually start getting a form of income, too. Problem is, it seems that recently missions have been cropping up in length even for us second years. It's like there's Grim coming out of the woodwork in Vale, recently, Coco said. Oh. I'm sorry to hear that, David said. Hey, it's fine. A sleepless night or two is expected, with our career choice. The real problem is that I won't be able to organize the dance. I do not trust the teachers with that, considering their tastes, Coco said. The dance? David asked. You seriously haven't heard about it yet? Coco asked. I've been kinda busy. School mundane life isn't exactly on the top of my priorities, David said. Mundane life, he says. It's a kind of black tie affair, semi-formal, for students of the first and second year, to have some fun together before summer break. This year is going to be particularly important too, because of all the transfer students. But alas, I lack the time I had when I was a first year, it seems, Coco said. I see. What are you going to do about it, then? David asked. Ideally, I'd need to find a first year who knows how to organize this kind of stuff and would be willing to take over for me, Coco said. I think I know just the person, David said. In Team JPDDE's dorm room. Thank you. I'm sure he'll enjoy the gift, Penny said. Penny then closed the door and turned around. In front of her was a giant pile of gift baskets. She then added the newest one to the pile. Penny. I think we need to have a talk, Evelyn said. About the baskets. They are kind of taking up a lot of space, Penny said. They are. But it's what they mean that I want to talk about, Evelyn said. What is it? Penny asked. I'm sure you've noticed who's been delivering these gifts, Evelyn said. Yes, our friends and other students, Penny said. And those other students have been predominantly female, and have you read some of the notes? Evelyn asked. I have. Most of them are quite, Penny said. You don't need to say it, Evelyn said. So what are we going to do? It's clear that they like Ijuku. Which isn't surprising, he's kind and caring to everyone he meets, Penny said. You're right. It's the same reason we love him, but I feel like this is going to be a big problem. I'm not ready to have the entire female population of every school wanting to be with him. One more is enough, Evelyn said. Neither am I, but I don't know if he would be able to choose one of them. He would feel so guilty about leading them on, Penny said. What are we going to do? Evelyn asked. Well, you don't need to be a couple to show affection, Penny said. You're not suggesting that, Evelyn said. It doesn't have to become official, but we could allow him to become friends with benefits with these girls. I'm not opposed to it, provided we remain on top, Penny said. I'll have to think about it. But we should also talk to them before, so Evelyn said. Of course. And I believe we should talk to some experts on this type of thing, Penny said. Agreed, but where are we going to find some? Evelyn asked. I've gathered information that has led me to several students at Beacon, in our year, in fact, Penny said. Really? How have we not heard about this before? Evelyn asked. Well, we have been quite busy and haven't gotten the chance to make many friends, Penny said. That's true. Who are these people? Evelyn said. They are Orium Pendragon, Blaze Akin, Cobalt Blue and Minor Juhong, Penny said. Weiss mentioned Blaze and Cobalt. Said they made a lot of noise before we showed up, Evelyn said. Penny then walked up to Evelyn and pinned her to the bed. Penny, Evelyn said. I feel like making some noise right now. And David or Izuku aren't here, Penny said. Penny then kissed Evelyn and soon the room was filled with moans. Thursday. Day 130. Classes had just ended, and Penny and David were heading towards the mess hall, when Penny got a call. Hello, Papa, Penny said. It's okay, I have time. Is something the matter, Penny asked. An issue with Seal, Penny asked. Sure, if you think it'll help. Oh, could I try to bring David? He can be surprisingly insightful, at times, Penny said. Ha. Right. I'll see you in a bit, then Penny said. The call then ended. David, Papa asked for my help with something regarding Seal. Would you mind accompanying me, Penny asked. Not at all. Is everything alright, David asked. Well, he implied there was an issue, but it didn't sound serious. We'll know more once we get there, I guess, Penny said. That's good to hear. Perhaps we could visit Jack and Izuku first, though, David said. That's a wonderful suggestion. They must have gotten quite bored without us around, Penny said. Not Jack. She must enjoy being able to get a full 8 hours of sleep, David said. Indeed. Although they may not be able to get sleep tonight. I heard a series of very loud sounds in the background as we talked. Wondering if they had a mishap with some kind of new machinery, Penny said. David and Penny then entered the lab ship's infirmary. Jack and Izuku were both watching a movie on the holoscreen. Hi Izuku. Hi Jack, Penny said. Jack then paused a movie. Hey guys. What brings you here, Jack asked. Papa called me and said there was a problem with Seal. And since we needed to come to the lab ship, David suggested we visit you too, Penny said. So, we were just an afterthought, Deku asked. No, of course not. It's just that we haven't visited you two since that night, David said. We didn't mean to make you feel, Penny said. Jack and Deku laughed. Guys. I'm just messing with you. Neither of us are mad that you haven't come to see us, Deku said. Yeah. We've been enjoying our time here as much as we can, Jack said. What happened to the Izuku we met during initiation, David asked. I've changed thanks to you guys. I'm sure you've changed since then as well, Deku said. I suppose so, David said. So, what were you watching, Penny asked. We've been trying to watch a romance movie I chose, Jack said. Keyword is try. We've gotten several interruptions, Deku said. Interruptions? Are they loud noises? When I was talking to Papa, I could hear loud noise in the background. I assume those noises are what are interrupting you, Penny asked. Do you know what they are, David asked. No, Jack said. What do they sound like, Penny asked. The four then heard a loud noise. That, Deku said. We should go, David said. David and Penny left the infirmary and entered the lab. Hello, Papa, Penny said. Hello, Penny. Mr. Dik Begis Enrico said. Professor. How have you been, David asked. Pretty good, thank you very much. Seal is the one in need of succor, Enrico said. Really? What kind of succor, Penny asked. Well, that's the thing. I don't really, Enrico said. Seal then sneezed, creating the same sound as before. So that loud sound was a sneeze, David asked. I don't need help, Seal sniffed. Seal, Penny asked. What the hell happened to you, David asked. Nothing. This is just a random view, Seal said, sneezing again. Oh, it looks like a bug, alright, David said. Shut up, Yusma, Seal said, sneezing once again. So, I'm no expert on androids and all, but I believe what we're seeing here is an impossibility, David said. Indeed. Let me assure you that there's nothing wrong with Seal, virally wise. There are no cells to infect in her body, Enrico said. Okay. So what the hell, David asked. That's what we're going to find out. That's why I asked Penny to come visit. I may be the world's foremost in my fields, but I believe that Penny may offer a more unique perspective, being the other crystal life form on Remnant. And Seal Senior, Enrico said. Thank you, Papa. Indeed, I already have an idea of what may have caused this, Penny said. You do? What is it, then? What is happening to me? How do I make it stop, Seal asked. Oh. I thought you said it was just a bue, David said. David was sent flying by Seal's sneeze. Let's see. Would I be correct in assuming that it started light but has gotten stronger and stronger, Penny asked. Yes. It started yesterday, Seal said. I see. Then what we need to do to find the source of the problem is to retrace your steps over the last 24 hours, Penny said. Why do we need to find, Seal asked. Obviously, so that we can stop it from happening again. No point in stopping the first outbreak if we can't prevent successive apparitions, Penny said. Seal sighed. You're right. We should. Well, I spent most of the day on board, actually, Seal said. Let's retrace your steps, then. Please lead the way, Penny said. Seal and Penny then left the lab. Professor, I was thinking, David said. Yes, Mr. Dikbegus, Enrico asked. This whole thing. Seal is doing something that she physically shouldn't be able to, David said. Reminds you of something, doesn't it, Enrico asked. So you thought of it too, David said. Of course, I did. And because I knew, I called Penny up. I figured this could be a great learning experience for Seal and a bonding opportunity for the both of them, Enrico said. I see. In that case, I will do my best to let Seal figure it out herself, David said. Seal then sneezed. Although I hope it's sooner rather than later, David said. Same. The equipment can be quite expensive, Enrico said. A while later, Seal had taken Penny and David through what she did yesterday. I don't think this is productive, Penny said. What, Seal said. Well, so far everything seems to be pretty routine, no? The environment, your duties, your approach to them, all seems pretty controlled. We're looking for something that is out of the ordinary, something out of your control. Did anything like that happen on the lab ship, Penny asked. Not on the lab ship, no, Seal said. Not on the lab ship. Did you go into Vale, David asked. No, Seal said, sneezing and sending David fly again. Ijuku did mention that he went into Vale with you. We could ask him to tell us what happened, Penny said. Absolutely not, Seal said. Why? Did something happen in Vale, Penny asked. No, Seal said, sneezing again, and hitting David again, who had just gotten back up. Seal, Penny said. Okay. So, I may have possibly maybe made a friend in Vale, Seal said. You've made a friend. That's wonderful. Making new friends is great. Second, that's exactly the kind of non-controlled scenario we're looking for, Penny said. Wait. You mean to say that this could be sabotage, Seal asked. No, that's impossible. You're literally the most advanced cracking, infiltration and cyber warfare unit on Remnant, Seal. This is not about that. This is about the intersection of your non-machine prerogatives and your machine rules, and the issue that arise when that happens, Penny said. What? What kind of issue, Seal asked. I think that what Penny is trying to say is that, you did something that, as a living being, you're able to do, but as a machine you shouldn't be, and that's what caused this reaction, David said. Something I shouldn't be able to do. I can't think of anything like that, Seal said. Seal the sneezed again. but David was able to dodge this time. Then I guess we should go ask your friend. Let's ask Izuku for her name, Penny said. What? No. No need. Her name is Mora, Seal said. Oh. I know her, she works at the market, David said. Good. Let's take a lab ship down to Vale, Penny said. Penny and David then walked off. Hey. No. Stop it, Seal yelled, chasing after them. Will you listen to me already, Seal yelled. The three then arrived in Vale. Why won't you, Seal yelled, sneezing once more. Bless you, David said. Listen to me, Seal yelled. Because that would be counterproductive to our investigation. I believe it is absolutely imperative that we speak with your friend, Penny said. Can't I just tell you what we did, Seal asked. Well, Penny said. Penny, give her the chance, David said. I guess we should. Go ahead, Seal, Penny said. Well, we bonded over my beret, she liked it, and so whenever we meet we mostly talk about fashion, Seal said. That's great. I didn't know you had an interest in fashion, Penny said. I didn't realize it, either, but thinking back, I actually designed my own uniform. It's not really standard, Seal said. Oh. Did you by chance design my new clothes as well, Penny asked. Maybe. Point is, I only realized it while talking to her. So I like to meet her and talk about fashion. I even help her out with the shop sometimes, Seal said. I see. Was yesterday the same, Penny asked. Yes, Seal said. And you didn't do or talk about anything else, David asked. No. We didn't talk about anything out of the, Seal said, sneezing and sending David flying. I see. If that's indeed it, then I see nothing that could hit us to the source of your problem, Penny said. I indeed, Seal said. Which makes it even more important for us to talk to your friend, Penny said. But why, Seal asked. Because she might have noticed something that you didn't, of course, Penny said. But I don't want her to see me like this. Yes, Seal said. Understandable. I will go see her on my own, then. I won't be long, Penny said. Penny then left. No. Come back here, Seal yelled. Seal was about to chase after her, but David grabbed onto her. What the? Dik Begis. What are you, Seal asked. I crawled back here after you sneezed me into another wall. I've had enough. Fess up, already. What did you lie about, David yelled. I have no idea what, Seal said. I swear to gods if you throw me into another building, David yelled. David then sighed and calmed down. Okay, look, I promise I won't tell anyone. We can go have tea somewhere so you can relax, but you need to come clean to someone. That's what this is about, David said. What, Seal asked. Lies, Seal. It's about lies. You sneeze every time you lie. Just like Penny's hiccups, David said. Fine, let's. The one over there will do, Seal said. David and Seal then headed to a cafe. Professor Polendina told me that he came here the first day he arrived in Vale. He really liked their tea blends, Seal said. I see. And what do you think? I'm not that big of a tea expert, David said. I wouldn't know. I don't have a papillary system, Seal said. You mean you can't taste food, David asked. No. Neither could Penny, at the beginning. But that changed. When she wanted to spend more time among humans, she asked to be given the ability to eat and taste. To fit in better. We don't depend on food to sustain ourselves. Doesn't mean I'm not curious about doing stuff like you do. Tasting something sweet or tangy, making something without following blueprints, finding your personal interests, Seal said. This isn't a recent development, is it, David asked. No, Seal said. And have you told your father? David asked. Dr. Helheim, when he created me, the modifications and improvements that he made on Penny's original blueprints, they were all to make a perfect counter for her. I was ever but a safeguard. Which wasn't even near what she was supposed to safeguard. I wasn't even allowed to do what I was created to, which is why I requested the transfer to Vale, Seal said. But then Penny revealed herself to be nothing like you expected, David said. No. The complete openness to my existence. She took my appearance in complete stride. And the way she relates to people. Starting with the professor. Unlike me, her creation was an accident. The professor chose to treat her like a daughter. And she treats him like her father in turn. The way she worries about his health, for one, Seal said. The sandwiches, right? David asked. The sandwiches, Seal said. You're a little jealous, aren't you? David asked. Yes, Seal said. And Mora caught on it. You let your guard down and started talking about stuff other than fashion, David asked. Yes. I have never told a direct, blatant lie in my life before. I'm used to using misdirection, but I felt so put on the spot, Seal said. How's your nose feeling now? David asked. It's clear. What the hell? Seal asked. I think that, since you faced the problem and identified it as the source of the bug, your machine side managed to elaborate it. I bet that, from now on, whenever you lie, you'll just get a normal sneeze instead of that catastrophe, David said. How can you be so sure? Seal asked. Well, I don't go into hiccuping fits anymore, myself. It happened once and then, when I figured out it was because of lying, my body just adapted. Papa figured that since you're based on my blueprints, you would need to go through a similar process, Penny said. Why couldn't you just tell me immediately? Seal asked. Because I figured you wouldn't admit to lying about something unless put with your back against the wall. And by the way, good job, Mr. Wall, Penny said. Thanks, honey, David said. Seal sighed. I guess I should thank you, Seal said. No need. Now, when do you want to schedule your papillary update? Penny asked. My what? Seal asked. For your sense of taste. You're curious about food, aren't you? Penny asked. I'm not curious about food, Seal said. Seal then sneezed. Seal sighed in defeat. Next weekend? Seal asked. Penny and David laughed. Is there anything else you want to do that you can't right now, that I can? Penny asked. Seal blushed. No, Seal said, before sneezing. You sure? Penny asked. Yes, Seal said, sneezing again. I'll leave you to tell the truth when you're ready, Penny said. Seal sighed. The three then returned to the lab ship. End of chapter 46.